I'm nuts. And you?
Ohayou gozaimasu. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. How are we all doing? Let me start some music first. Usual suspects, welcome in. I haven't done that thing yet. Let me make a note for that because I don't remember. I'll put the local time up. Hey Beanie. Yeah, I like hats, you know. My sister used to call me Cat Boy when I was younger. I used to collect like lots of funky different hats when I was really young. And I still like hats now, but you don't see me wear them on stream. My hair's an absolute mess. I have a barber's appointment like on my lunch break today. So I'm going to cut my hair today finally. I decided based on someone's input, keeping a hairstyle that your partner enjoys is probably the way forward. She doesn't like it when I buzz my head completely. So I took that. It is cold today, it's raining, and it's pretty chilly. So I'm wearing a hat. But mostly it's because my hair's an absolute mess. Welcome in, everybody. We're going to be doing some more carving on the bonsai. Not the bonsai, that's a lie, on the samurai. We're working on this. We're just about to finish the leg today. Done a bit more of the kanji up top, and we finished that whole section down there. So we're basically ignoring the kanji. We're more than halfway through the samurai itself. Well, I guess it's about halfway through the samurai. And then the kanji will take a long time, so I'd say we're maybe like a third of the way through. Probably time-wise less, but in terms of actual lines, yeah. Let's flick over. You can see we finished this whole section. We're going to be working, yeah, all this side of the samurai is done. We're going to be working down this leg. If anyone is new here, oh, I don't have it here. 1 second, let me copy and paste it over. Command C and V. This is what we're working on. We're working on this bottom left leg here. This is an undertone that's going to go under a more detailed black block that will come on top. This is creating depth in that colour. It's going to be the undertone on the key block here, and also a bunch of the key lines, some of the black outlines. Let's get some carving, and we can have some conversations a little bit later. We've got some stuff to talk about today. I will explain all in due course, but for right now, let's get involved in this leg. Bit of oil. This knife. I need to see my sample. Just reorganize some tabs here. This in front. Okay, let's go. Come on, come on, come on. Loading, loading, loading. This file is so big that when I zoom in, like it loads in sections. Had a bit of a nightmare yesterday. I think I chipped maybe 5 knives. Very frustrating. You say it's a lot done. I feel like I should be further in. But it's slow going, this type of work. But, you know, we're trying. Typically, slow going work is not something really have a problem with. But seems to be some sense of urgency on this. Well, we'll get into some of that stuff a little bit later. Where's the music gone? Yeah, so chipping 5 knives in one day, I'm guessing it's around 5. I don't know exactly how many. I felt like I was just sharpening all day yesterday. Really quite frustrating. And another thing is, do you remember I told you I snapped the blade? Let me show you this. I did snap a blade in a weird spot before. I snapped it from its handle. It's not down to the maker mark. There was like an extra bit on the end, maybe that first metatarsal on my finger there, extra. Anyway, I sharpened this. I got it really, really nice. I was just doing the finishing stuff and it snapped again. It snapped again. It didn't snap all the way through. How can I get that to focus? It didn't snap all the way through. I stopped it just in time. But it did snap again. So this blade is obviously just a piece of junk. Because that's never actually happened to me before. And it's happened twice on this single blade. So it was probably just a bad piece of blade. Which might be explaining why it's also chipping so much. Why I lost so many tips. But yeah, what I was doing was, because I didn't want to waste this blade, I was wrapping this in this to make the sleeve really tight on it, and then I was folding up this scampi at the end there, and that was making a really thick wedge at the end. So it was only, you know, if you look at the blades here, it was only in that cap there, but because I jammed so much paper in, it was like holding it really tight. Anyway, that's gone. It's too short now to be using. But very frustrating. Quality control issues, yeah. Which meant I only had 2 knives then when the other blades did eventually snap. But don't chat. Very frustrating. Picked up the wrong blade there. It's frustrating that it snapped, but it also, it's a little bit vindicating that it doesn't mean that I'm just like, I was treating it really badly or putting pressure in the wrong way. There was actually a defect in the metal. Yeah, it's time to let it go. I've got a little... I'll show you actually where I put my blades. This is my little blade jar where I put all my little pieces of metal. I got lots of cutter blades and ends of knives. This is the piece that actually broke off. Oh no. That's about how much I have to leave waste on one. That's the maker mark there, right at the tip. But yeah, most of them are cutter blades. There's a few knife tips. So we'll do the ceremonial placing it in there. That's gone. We've let it go. Do you buy your own blades? Yeah, I buy my own blades. Yeah, when I was sharpening it, it bent, and I bent it back and it broke. Obviously a brittle piece of steel there. Let's get back on track. Yes, I got some news. I'm not saving it to sort of collect it. I'm saving it to dispose of it properly. You can't just throw little pieces of metal in the rubbish. Eventually they'll get sent out, but it'll probably be a while. Ooh. Room and Board is raiding. Thank you so much. Room and Board. I haven't seen your name in here before. How are we doing? Did you have a good stream? Oh, we have seen you before. I'm sure you've raided before. Welcome in, thank you. What were you guys up to today? Kitchen crew? You cooking? Threatened us with a relaxing time. Okay. Well, hopefully it is relaxing. We're just cutting some wood blocks here. My name is Taryn. I'm a professional woodblock printmaker. This is the image we are working on today. We're cutting the black lines for this one. We've made our way from the very top of the block up here. Here's my finger for reference for some of these stuff. And we've made our way all the way down here through some of the armor. And now we're just at these shin guards here. We're carving this section. That's what we're working on. It's an image by Kunyoshi, a famous woodblock print designer from the Edo era. I'm not sure what years he was alive. I have a small little show and tell for you. I made some new business cards. I mentioned that I had that sort of event with Netflix. And I made some new business cards for that, and they arrived the day after the event. Which is a bit of a shame, but it's all good. You made some chicken noodle soup. Feeling under the weather. I'll eat my soup and chill. Yeah, well, that's the best thing for sickness, I hear. That wasn't really a thing in the UK, like chicken noodle soup. Just from consuming American content, I know that that's the thing that you're supposed to eat when you're sick. What is it in the UK? I guess it's a bowl of tomato soup. Yeah, lots of buttery bread and tomato soup. I think that's the sick food. Maybe I'm wrong if there's any other Brits in here. I know you from Dave. I thought if my friends wanted to watch something amazing, they should come here. Wow, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I don't know if it's amazing. We're just ticking over. I hope you had a nice stream. And thanks for dropping in. Okay. Let's do something a bit more interesting now, rather than that coarse stuff. Let's do this little knot. I do need to look at my reference just to check. Flick, flick, flick. Okay. If you have any questions, if you don't understand what's going on, there's lots of people in chat who can help you, or feel free to ask me. I'll see what I can do to help elucidate what we're doing here. Give me a couple minutes to do some work here, and I'll show you them business cards I was working on. They came in a really lovely box. Tomato and basil, a crusty French baguette. Is that what you have when you're sick? What was the Netflix thing you did? It was just an event. I was helping my teacher out for the release of One Piece Season 2 on Netflix. We did like a printing workshop for a bunch of influencers. I can't talk too much about it. That's about as much as I can say. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Facebook. We're taking away everything that we don't want to be printed in black later. There you go, that's that little section done there, basically. That's a little flavour of what we're doing here. Sometimes it's kind of quiet, sometimes we do gentle carving, other times we have stories. I do have some pretty hefty news to get through later, but let's save that for a little bit. Will we be able to see the one piece? It wasn't actually the print we made was just like an adventure map type thing. So it wasn't really a One Piece themed print. Well, yeah, it was more of a Tokyo themed print. So there's not really. Maybe you should be checking the One Piece influencers. Yeah, anyone who. They weren't all. There was a lot of journalists as well. There was a food reviewer. And a lot of people who are like in and around anime type stuff. Lots of food talk going on. Last stream in the title. Yeah. That's what we'll be discussing in a little bit. Not to keep you on edge, but cliffhanger for sure. It's a little bit clickbait. But not really. Let's get in here. I need a little bit of oil. I'm struggling with position today. Flick that over. This is just a little bit of camellia oil. And it sort of makes the paper a little bit more transparent. Get my pointy knife. This song is reminding me of something. So, yesterday I was listening to a podcast which had Zach Braff. Is that his name? The guy from Scrubs. So I was listening to a podcast with him. Apparently, there's a new Scrubs coming out, and why does that relate to Nina Simone? This song, not this song actually, the Cinnamon by Nina Simone. I used to really enjoy Scrubs, and I found Cinnamon on Scrubs. I really, really like the song. You all know the song, right? Oh, Cinnamon, we're gonna run to. And that got me into Nina Simone. There's a really, really good documentary about her. She seemed like a crazy woman in like the best possible, most like we Brits enjoy our eccentrics. And she was definitely an eccentric. So if you haven't seen it, there is a documentary on YouTube that I think is well worth a watch. I still haven't made my mind up about these black lines here. There's a couple ways to do this type of thing. Typically, we'd leave the black lines under. When there's a second colour going on top, this will be a dark black eventually in the final print. And there's a couple of different options. One is to leave the lines there and just make sure that the carving and the registration during printing time is like pinpoint accurate. You really don't want them to be misaligned at all. And on a large print like this, the paper is shrinking and swelling. Like, it's pretty tricky to line them up. And so in the original, what they did was, for all these round sections, they kept the black in, and these lines, they kept the black in. But I think they were struggling during test printing time. Maybe it hadn't been carved perfect, or maybe it was just the shrinking and swelling of the paper and the boards and stuff. But I think they were getting some misalignment, and it was like filling in these white spaces. And so on the original, they've definitely cut all these out of the key block and just left them on the black. And because they're using a really thick black with like probably lots of Nikawa mixed in, really thick viscous black with Nikawa to make it like really rich and sort of almost glossy. I am yet undecided on how I want to tackle this. I think it's probably best if I leave it in. But I'm 100% that they took it off on the original. But I think there's two cases to be made. One, making the registration easier for printers, but there's lots of pinpoint registration on this. They've just got to be careful with all the registering. So I think it's probably easier for them to just register everything really, really carefully and have that security that that black is going to be nice and rich regardless of like if they had any little problems or something, because it'll have that undercoat. Much easier to get a nice rich black when you've got an undercoat. So plus minus is there. There is a really deep history to just like a love of eccentrics. Maybe not. Maybe it's not a love of eccentrics. Maybe it's just like a really high concentration of eccentrics. Probably because we're a small island and there's probably a lot of that happening. But there is some, definitely in my family especially, there's like this eccentric gene. No one in my family is wholly normal, I don't think. And maybe that is, like I'm saying, maybe that is the blue blood we have. I've told you about my lordship that I could have had, right? Are you familiar with this? I'm sure I have explained this before. Normal is just a bunch of people with the same eccentricity. Yeah, that's true. I can't think of any. There's some really funny characters from like British history. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but like people who collect really odd things and like my sister only wears blue. She only wears blue. Everything she owns is blue. Blue shoes. If it doesn't have any blue on it, or blue isn't the main thing, she just like doesn't wear it anymore. She made that decision a while ago and she just like stuck with it. That's the type of thing that you get a lot of in the UK, I guess. No, no, my lordship. So I can't believe I haven't told this story. It's been a year and I haven't told this. A bit more than a fair share of eccentrics in your family. Yeah, yeah. We call it the Casey gene. So yeah, that print actually, that's all blue. That's because she enjoys blue. Is she a member of the Eiffel 65? I don't know what that is. Is that an organization that only wears blue? The thing is, she's quite subtle with it actually. If you just saw her one time, you wouldn't go, "Oh, there's the blue girl." She wears it very, very naturally. So you'd only notice it if you saw her like 7 days in a row. You'd go, wait a minute." I applaud it. I had a thing like that where I only wore, not only wore, but I like most of my clothes was like a sort of sienna. No blue hair. No, no, no. Anyway, if my great grandfather was the eldest son, he was the second son born. But if my great grandfather was the eldest son, then that would mean that I would now be Lord of Nottinghamshire. So Nottingham, where Robin Hood is from. But my great grandfather was the second oldest, and then my grandmother sort of got very involved with the church and wanted to give like her inheritance, just all of it, to the church. And so her mother froze all her assets, and then it was all like poorly managed by an accountant who lost a lot of it investing in stuff poorly. So basically, we went from like a lord's family down to like peasants. Is there a castle? No, but there would have been a very, very nice manor house. I have. Remind me one time. I'll show. I have a signet ring from my family. But you know the ones that you used to press wax into. It's been passed down to me. Ah, the family crest is something very similar to the Baratheon one. It's a crowned stag. We even have family words. In Latin, it's veritas vincit, means the truth will out. But very much so, I didn't grow up in that environment. But we do have some noble blood. Making money is easier than keeping it over generations, yeah. It's just a thing. Like I'm an anti-monarchist as well, so I'm not too into all of that, but it is pretty cool. The man that was nearly a lord. Must be a millionth to ask about the stream title. Yeah, okay, let's give me a couple seconds, we'll get into that. We haven't actually discussed it yet. Two seconds, let me just outline this thing. Okay, check the chat. In the Mood, yeah, it's a good song. Oh, it's okay, you're not rushing. Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Okay. Let's just get into it. I am taking a break. I'm taking a break. I've been dealing with some quite severe burnout recently. And yeah, it's a hiatus. So we have a renovation coming up. That's starting on the 6th, April 6th. And then it'll take about 10 days, which is 2 weeks like of actual working days. And I've not been very kind to myself or my body, and I think I don't really have the bandwidth to do everything I'm doing at the moment. And so I'm trying to be kinder to myself. And of all the responsibilities and things that I can drop, there's only really one thing, and I'm sorry that it's you guys. But yeah, I need to take a break. It'll be like 5 weeks. Is it 6? So starting on the 6th, and then yeah, so we'll be back on the, I guess, let's just set it in date. 21st will be the next stream. April 21st. Yeah, I'm sorry to do that. If there are people who have just, I remember last stream we had a couple people who signed up their primes. Send me a message on the Discord, and I'll gift you some subs when we're back to like make up for that. I can't offer it to like everyone, but like if you've just signed up for a prime, send me a message on Discord, and then remember to all pause your subscriptions for a month. I don't want you to like waste all your subscribers stuff while I'm not actually streaming for a month. So yeah, hopefully you people will come back after. You won't just like give up on me, but I kind of really need to do this. I feel like a little bit I have a bit of an emotional short fuse at the moment. I don't really have a lot of bandwidth for stuff, and like small injustices that usually I'm pretty good at just like, okay, that's that person. There was one, what's he called? Who's the Holmes guy? There's a really good quote from him. I can't remember the quote. Is that comedian something Holmes? And he was on a podcast years and years ago. I used to listen to Harmontown. He was on that, and he's talking about like just the way he deals with like people cutting him off in traffic and stuff. That he just like thinks of everyone as a god, and he's like, "Oh, blue car god is just doing this." And I don't know where I'm going with this quote. I couldn't remember the quote, and I misremembered the whole story. But I'm pretty good usually at just like, oh, that person's doing that. They experienced this. They're not taking things too personally, and just like letting them go. But at the moment, like small slights and injustices, I found myself the other day just like, fuck you. You know, not having the regulation that I usually do. And it's kind of a sign. I also found myself looking at quite earnestly, some advert came up for, what was it? For like 6 months working on an oil rig. I was like quite seriously like looking through the stuff for it, and I thought that's a bit of a wake-up call that because I love my job. I like train really hard for this. I'm quite firm with myself, and I set some pretty strict parameters on myself to become a good carver. And I sort of achieved that, and I've been feeling a little bit disillusioned that I haven't been. Anyway, I just felt a little tired because I've been not sleeping and not taking care of myself at all. I used to do lots of sports, and that sort of made up for the long hours of sitting still, and it's been like 5 months without me doing anything. I keep trying to start a new daily yoga practice, but like that first session has become like a mountain that I can't climb. I also had one day off in the last month and a half or something like that. Like one weekend. And it wasn't even a full day, it was like most of a day off. Maybe a nice jog with your wife to clear your head. Yeah, something like that. Nice jog, yeah. It's becoming spring. It's good running weather. We'll be back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It may be the beanie. Maybe the hat's too tight and like no blood going to my head. Yeah, there was just a couple things that just. I'm not going to become an oil rigger now. I'm not giving up woodblock printing, but I did find myself looking at an advert for it because it was really good money, and it was just like go away for 3 months, come back with like 20 grand. I thought it'd be a nice break. I noticed that like I think I've been okay holding it in, like not being too grumpy on streams and stuff. I know over Christmas I got quite pessimistic and quite grumpy. But I want I want to improve the streams. I want to do better on the streams. Like the camera situation has become like I just want to get it settled. I think I need a new lens. I should just bite the bullet, get a new lens type of stuff, and do all the peripheries instead of drip feeding things all the time. I just want to nail everything. Sort the lighting out, sort the pop-ups on screen. So we want to do a bunch of, home improvements on the stream so we can come back and be in a much better place. Yeah, we're taking just over a month off. I'm taking just over a month off to sort of get back on track. The stream isn't a burden. It really isn't. It is a bit tricky with balancing printing and stuff. It's a lot to set up and clean everything up, and often I like do some prep for the stream the night before. Like last night, because all my blades were chipped, I was doing some other work and I forgot that I hadn't sharpened my blades. It was like midnight, and then I had to sharpen all my blades. That's where that blade snapped last night. It was like 12:30. No, it was just after midnight. So there's like small burdens on that, like, and it makes it difficult to print and stuff. The streaming itself is fun. I enjoy this, but I've got to ease up on some stuff, and there's nothing else that can go. So the only slight relief is like not the pressure of tomorrow there's a stream. It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy streaming or I find streaming tiring. I actually want to do it. It's just I need I want to be Genki. I want to be happy on stream. And so, yeah, I don't want to put negativity out there and like bitchiness. And I don't want to complain about people that may get me into trouble complaining about, or like exposing too much on like work that I shouldn't be exposing and getting into trouble that ways and stuff. So Darren hates us. So, Your fit today looks like an 1870s whaler. Okay. No whales were harmed in the making of this broadcast. And also, I need to be productive. I've got so much work that I have to get through. And I'm definitely slower. I'm like quite a lot slower on stream than I am when I'm off stream. None of this is like looking for sympathy or anything. I'm just... Well, it's just the fact I need to take some time off. And I'm not very good at doing stuff like that for myself, so... I used to have so much more energy. It's just been a lot of years of like really, really pushing myself. But obviously, eventually, sort of 7 years of that is going to catch up with you. And it'd always been a lot of hours. But the last 2 years, it's like ramped up quite steeply, even on top of like what I thought was excessive. Because I just keep adding responsibilities. So I'm trying to take advice that I'd give to someone else. Be kind to yourself, because no one else will be. Seven, not 20. 7 years I've been doing this. Let's look at the original. I made a decision here to split this one into 2 small lines. But I'm looking at the original again now, and I'm thinking that probably it's just like a bit of chitty or something in the paper, or like a hard bit of size or something that's just making it blank. And so I think I'm going to leave that as one. Instead of carving this middle section out, carve that down like that. And leave that section. Can't speak for anyone, but my energy level's gone down as I aged. I'm almost 60. I shouldn't be feeling like that at 33. I think it's just like It's just overworked. It's self-inflicted. There's the leg done. We just have a foot left. Let's do it. My hand got caught there against the edge of the block. Am I going to be able to reach that? I want to pull the block towards myself. Give me a second. Sorry. I know it's not ideally centered, but if I can't reach it, I can't carve it. It's just that curve. Ooh. Jumpy blade there. Real centered. Okay, on camera. Constant workout is essential to maintain your energy. Yeah, I need to do running or get back into swimming or yoga or something. I need to get back into some exercise. That's one of my big things I'm going to try and do this month. Can you get care of the guy's ingrown nails since you're down there? Moving off camera. I'm just making really, really shallow score marks, just so I can keep on the line here, keep everything consistent. Kids have all grown up. Mine? My son's 1.5. Well, 1 and 7 months. Welcome in, John. I lost my little rag, you know. I have a little one. But once that you've had it for a while and it's been saturated, it sort of stays folded or nice. But I lost it. I must have swept it up when I was tidying up some wood chips. I've been doing some large clearing. I'm on the ice ski work for another one of my jobs. Yeah, I'm about a third of the way through the ice ski on that one. But I've done all the big clearing work and all the carving. But I must have swept up my little oil rag. So I have a new oil rag, and they take like a few weeks before I like them. Not so tedious to carve. This, I actually enjoy this type of stuff. Slow going, not tedious. I wish my knife was a little bit sharper. I mentioned before that, remember this knot here? It's not knot, it's like a little bit of bad wood. Well, there's actually like a streak running through this whole section. It goes down here it's kind of hard in one place and then it's sort of not so great on the other side, so that it's a little bit uneven bits of wood there. And this sandal is like on that grain line, so I got to be a bit careful. Ginger Crush is raiding with a party of 22. Thank you so much. Wow, 2 raids in one stream. That is a new record, by the way. Welcome in, welcome in. We're having some very quiet carving moments at the minute. Welcome in, raiders. Ginger Crush, what were you doing? Makers and crafting, or? Let me check. Something cat themed? What were you doing? Big announcement. Oh, that was 15 days ago. Ah, crafting. Cool. Trying every craft. Nice. Little bit of sculpting today. Cool. How did that go? Also, feel free if you need to raid and run. If you need to dip, get yourself a nice cup of tea, relax. That's all good. Thank you so much for the raid. If you'd like to post a link of your stuff, please feel free. I didn't say that to room and board when they came in, but that's always welcome for people to share what they're doing. Wow, really are trying all the different crafts. Cool. Wood burning is fun. I did a little bit of that when I was younger. To all the new raiders here, we are making Japanese woodblock prints. Here is the image we are carving. This is the key block so the key block is all the black lines on the image. This is the key block for this print. We've got quite a ways through it. Lots of detailed, delicate carving. We have some more calligraphy to do. We still have the very fine hair to do. I'll be doing that for sure off stream. But we've got a lot of the armor done, and eventually we'll take all this waste wood away, leaving just these raised lines. We'll rub it with pigment and we will take an impression, and then we'll do the same process again for all the colors. That's basically what we're doing. We're just working on some little sandally bits right now. I hope you enjoy it. Just some quiet carving. We've had the announcements for the day and we've got about 10 minutes left. So we're just gonna peacefully do this. If you have any questions, please let me know. Anyway, thanks for your raid. Just quiet, picky work at the minute. Just before we do that, I'm just gonna realize I just scored all these lines, but I haven't cut them properly. So between all these lines, I'm just gonna make sure all that wood's cut nicely. Yeah, well, the idea was just to barely scratch it. If I go too, because I'm doing a scratch cut first, just to guide my knife. If I go too deep, these little lines will all be broken. And you can see that in a lot of these lines on the original, I've actually recreated them. Where can I show you now? Down on the bottom of this, they chipped a lot of lines by doing this technique. Well, I can see them on the block here, but you're not going to be able to see them very clearly. Yeah, unfortunately not. Is there easier ones here to show you? I know there was a bunch. Okay, let me zoom into this bit. Can you guys see this line? That it doesn't touch the top? No, it's not going to be clear enough for you guys to see. Anyway, there's lots of stuff like this. This little line in the middle doesn't go all the way to the top. And that's because they'll have scored a little bit too deeply there. And when they've come in either side to cut the line off, that little bit is chipped off the end. So I'm trying to go really, really careful on that scoring line. Because if you do go too deep, too shallow, and you can't really, it doesn't really guide anything. But too deep and then, sorry for all the shaking, too deep and little bits will chip off. Why does your title of your stream say last stream? We're going to take a little hiatus, just over a month. We'll be back on April 21. Is that what we said? 21st? Yeah. It's after today. We'll be back on April 21st. And I can do a bunch of the background stuff. And that will actually be the mark of 1 year. So I started streaming April last year. So when we come back, I didn't quite make a year before a hiatus, but we will be back around the same time as we started. Apologies for the inconvenience. Hopefully when we come back, we can rebuild all those routines so that nobody misses a stream after that. Me especially. And there's always lots of other good people on Twitch streaming around this time, such as Ginger Crush and Room and Board. And if you are desperate for streams, there are always the VODs. You can rewatch. Thank you, Kiss Me's. 5 more minutes. Where should we do? We'll do this little section here. Cheers, Spickle. Cheers, that's funny. Actually, my wife has just like developed a real liking for the word cheers. She just starts using it in appropriate times. Deliberately. It's become a joke in our house. Just say stuff like, I'm just going to the bath. Cheers. Walk away. Explaining inside jokes are really, they're really not, it's just so unfunny when I just explain it to you, but we're having so much fun with it. And translating it's also really funny into Japanese. Cheers, mate, is kanpai tomodachi. It just sounds so weird in Japanese. So it's a new phrase we're trying to spread. Kanpai tomodachi, yeah. Cheers, mate, in Japanese. Like a literal translation, it means nothing. But it's the new Japanglish phrase sweeping the nation. Kanpai tomodachi. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. That's that last little segment. Next time you see this block, perhaps it will be finished. Probably. I'm guessing it'll be, you won't see me carving the key block anymore. Hopefully we are on to the colour block by, well, almost certainly, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing this again. Unless the kanji really kicks my ass. Anyway, I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for hanging in and thank you for understanding. I realised that I could have just not trauma jumped on you and just said, like, I just got to take some time, but Matt, I thought I'd be honest. We are honest in the Ginkgo Hanga community here. It is what it is. I'm feeling exhausted, and so I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I will be back on April 21st. Hopefully I will see you all then. We will have lots more fun. I'm going to sort out the camera. I'm going to sort out all the pop-ups on the screen. I'm going to try and improve the stream while I am away. I don't have anything else to say. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you soon. Come back.